So I was figuring out this character, but very much in the dark. There was no script to read. There wasn't even, it wasn't all fleshed out yet with the Captain Marvel solo film either. So it was just kind of finding our way, but it was a good group of people to figure it out with. There's no competition for me because I'm the strongest, so it's just kind of like a different...
Oh, yeah, you should let it think that, but yeah.
It's not. As I've said before, it's not, it's just a fact. It's not a personal opinion.
No,
and it's not a reflection on what you can't do. But it is also kind of a reflection on all the
Your chest, you're just not that strong.
Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Today we're continuing our journey covering all of the MCU with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the story about Carol Danvers and how she becomes one of Earth's mightiest superheroes while in the midst of a huge intergalactic war between the Skrulls and the Kree. Full spoilers here if you haven't seen Captain Marvel and you do care to see this movie still. I will be spoiling the movie here. I'm sure there's plenty of other reviews that don't spoil it. Over here, I'm just going to dive in and tell you exactly what I think, so last chance if you want to leave. And okay, so, wow, was this a controversial movie for the time. I mean, people either love this movie and really support its agenda, or absolutely hate it and want to burn it to the ground. If I had to give you just a quick idea in that scale, saying 0 is I want to burn it to the ground, and 10 is I absolutely love it, where I sit, I'm probably at a 3 or a 4. It's true that a lot of this movie's focus is not on giving us a really strong character and a great narrative, but rather on trying to push an agenda that, hey, females can be superheroes too, which I don't know why that's even in question. Have people seen Alien or Aliens? Have they seen Edge of Tomorrow? We have great female characters that are strong, you know, the strong female character that they want to adapt. Marvel and Disney like to think that for whatever reason that women are still very oppressed in today's society. I know people get treated like shit, but it's not just women. Everybody gets treated like shit every now and then. And the movie has to make a big spiel about how she's very strong on her own, despite being catcalled and all these things like that. And you don't have to belittle a man to then make her look more powerful. To make a strong female lead, make your female lead struggle and have to go through adversity and grow, rather than being all-powerful from the start and still being all-powerful by the end. There's no struggle there. But I'm getting way too political. I don't want to be political. I hate the idea of agendas and politics in movies. I just hate it. I just want to watch a good movie. That's all I want. It's the reason why Spider-Man No Way Home is the only movie out of all of Phase 4 that has had success, because it's not about pushing an agenda. It's about this guy and his struggles and him sacrificing everything. It's such a strange political climate that we're in. We have critics that are afraid to say bad things about these new Marvel shows that are coming out because they're afraid they'll lose their job. And that's crazy. Look, again, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself and I'm talking about the wider problems in the MCU rather than talking about this movie. So let me just talk about this movie. I'm sorry, it's just part of it when the culture around this movie is like this. So outside of all that stuff, how does this movie hold up? I still don't think it's that great. I mean, the problem is not only that it is trying to push a bit of an agenda, it's that at this point in the MCU, with everything we've seen, it lacks anything fresh to bring to the table. It really does the fish out of water story. She doesn't understand how Earth works because she's from a Kree planet or whatever. I know she's from Earth, but that's the perspective the film wants to go. But we've already had that with the first Thor movie, and it just feels a bit redundant. You know, an almighty, powerful being that just doesn't understand the ways of Earth. But I do want to talk about some positives. I'm not here to just bash this movie. The visual effects and the de-aging technology for Samuel L. Jackson and Greg Clark is phenomenal. You can't knock the amount of talent that went into that. It's just a shame that somehow, I don't even need to say somehow, it's the fact that Marvel wants to produce quantity over quality is why the CGI is just tanking, even though we're moving into the future of what movie technology can do. Phase 4 is more about rushing to get it done at an acceptable level, rather than let's give us something of quality. Another huge problem that I have with this movie is that it lacks style. You know, we've had the colours in Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy, and the action-like styles of the Winter Soldier and Civil War, where this just kind of feels like it's got nothing. Outside of the fight where she's in the gauntlets taking down the Skrulls at the beginning of the film, this film really lacks any memorable fight scenes or any great choreography at all. The film also seems to fight with itself over its tone and what its message is. Sometimes it's a 90s throwback nostalgia because this film takes place in the past, but then it wants to be a buddy cop film with Samuel L. Jackson, and then it wants to be about sisterhood. The movie's really all over the place regardless of political aspects of the film. Now personally, this is more of a nitpick. This is my channel. That's just how I feel about the stuff. The Skrulls, man, what wasted potential you could have had. I know they did the bait and switch to think, oh, you thought they were bad, but really they were good, but that little twist is not worth sacrificing what you could do with that kind of story. As far as casting, Ben Mendelsohn as a Skrull is a great idea. He does give it his all, but it's not enough to carry and fix what they've done with these characters. So I have to talk a bit about the political correctness and the agenda stuff again, because this is where really the movie actually falls apart. The problem is, and I hate to say this because I really don't think, as far as an actress, Brie Larson is that bad, but the performance is so wooden and so stale, and because of that, the movie falls to pieces. In most of these Marvel movies, you lack a great villain and there's problems here and there, but what you could always count on was that your main actor or actress was charismatic as hell and could carry the movie. But when that falls here, the whole movie starts to fall. So why do I think that her performance is very wooden and stale? Why would she be told to act like that, or why would she think that she needs to act like this? And the problem stems all the way back to woke culture. Because Marvel Studios, for whatever reason, thought they had to give up great storytelling and bind themselves to whatever Twitter expects from them. It was like Marvel read too much into it and overthought how to do this and how to write a strong female character. The solution is to just write a strong character and not overdo it. Not worry about what Twitter has to say, because Twitter is going to forget about it 3 weeks after the movies come out. So I'm talking about a strong female character, and what I mean by that is the modern idea of what a strong female character is a woman that can't show vulnerability. She has to be tough in all situations. She can't ever face adversity. And that makes for a very uninteresting character, and it's very hard to relate to, even if you're a woman. Women, like guys, we're not perfect, and all of a sudden to see the perfect person that never has to try or struggle, it's not relatable. Being a strong female character, she can't be made fun of in this movie just because she doesn't understand Earth's ways. But it works really well in Thor, and we can make fun of him, you know, he smashes his mug and he says he wants another. But if you dare laugh at Captain Marvel, you're gonna get a glare of how could you. It's hard enough to root for a character that's all-powerful and seemingly has nothing new to learn. But when she gives off that vibe, like one of those people that shows up at a party, and you know, she's not talking to anyone and she's there to just bring everyone's mood down, it makes it really hard to enjoy. If you love this movie, that's fantastic. But it just didn't work for me. And it's not Brie Larson's fault. I think it's stupid to point the finger at Brie Larson because this is a bigger cultural problem. This isn't just one woman that made this movie. This is a huge team of people that made this movie and thought that this is the right direction to go. This bigger cultural problem is bleeding into the MCU everywhere, especially in Phase 4. The problem, or what Marvel and Disney have realized, is that the more diverse of a cast we put in, the lazier we can get with our writing. And if anyone criticizes us for actually seeing underneath the covers that we're being lazy, we can just bam, you're racist, bam, you're sexist, and keep getting away with it. By the way, we're still talking about this movie. Little nitpick, but I hate the fact that Nick Fury got his eye scratched by a flurkin, I think that's what it's called. For me, it really destroys that scene in The Winter Soldier where he says, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. That's not a huge problem with the film, that's just a personal nitpick of mine. That this movie's taking away from another movie that I already enjoy. There's just, you know that there is something wrong if Thanos is a more relatable and real feeling character than Captain Marvel. So I've been talking for a long time. I'm sure I've cut this down a lot because I've been talking for 40 minutes and it just could be all over the place. I'm very sorry for that. But because I've been gone so long, I'll just give you a summary. What do I think? Go watch Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman does a great job of giving you a strong female lead without forcing that idea down your throat, and it comes so naturally in that movie. None of that feels forced, and god damn do I feel something when she walks on that battlefield with that shield. Because she has to face adversity, not be all powerful from the start and all powerful by the end. It gets points for the fact that the CGI here is fantastic, as well as a lot of the other creative efforts that went into this. But there's not much here, personally, that I like. And this isn't to do with the agenda thing. I don't like what they did with the Skrulls. I don't like what they did with Samuel Jackson and the truth behind his eye. I don't like how inconsistent the tone is. I don't like how wooden a lot of the dialogue and character work is. As a narrative and a story, it's not what I want. So for me, Captain Marvel has to get a 3 out of 10. It's just a damn shame. This could have been fantastic, and I don't know why Marvel had to overthink this as much as they did to then end up screwing themselves out of making just a good comic book movie. I don't know why it is such an issue to think, oh, we're doing a superhero movie about someone that's black or a woman, that it has to completely change up the formula. Or the idea that they just don't know how to do it. You just do exactly what you've done before. You just switch out your cast member. However, if you really enjoy this movie, that's great. You know, I think a lot of the worries at the time were, who is Captain Marvel? Is she going to swoop in and just save the day in Avengers Endgame? That kind of animosity was in the air as well. She could have come in and saved the day in Avengers Endgame. So for everyone that is being very hateful towards the actress, the crew members, it's so unwarranted. It never should have happened. No matter what gender you identify as or what race you are, no one deserves to be treated like they were treated. If you don't like the movie, then just don't watch the movie. I'm sorry I got political on you, but it's just something that comes with this movie. However, very soon we'll get to talk about Avengers Endgame, and I will be almost done with the MCU. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot, or liking the video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.